It was a quiet night in the Amazon rainforest, and the sky was filled with stars. The air was warm and humid, and the sound of crickets filled the atmosphere. Dr. Clara Mendez, a renowned astrobiologist, was on a research expedition when, suddenly, an intense glow swept across the sky. She looked up, her eyes wide with surprise, as an unidentified object descended rapidly, illuminating the darkness with a blinding light. The object landed with a subtle thud, gently vibrating the ground beneath her feet. Clara, who had always dreamed of exploring the unknown, felt a mix of fear and excitement. The Space Research Institute, where she worked, had sent a team to investigate anomalous phenomena, and she knew this was the moment she had waited for her entire life. As the dust settled, Clara and her team approached the vessel. It was an elegant structure with shiny surfaces reflecting the moonlight. Metal plates adorned with intricate symbols decorated the ship, and Clara felt a shiver run down her spine. It was clear that this object was of non-terrestrial origin. The scientists, armed with measuring equipment and cameras, positioned themselves around the craft, while Clara, taking the lead, stepped forward. Her heart raced in her chest, but her curiosity propelled her onward. What could be inside that mysterious capsule? Suddenly, a door opened slowly, revealing a chamber illuminated by a soft, pulsating light. Clara stood frozen for a moment, watching the darkness dissipate. Then, as if guided by an invisible force, the beings began to emerge from the ship. They were tall, about 2 meters in height, their iridescent skin reflecting the colors of the surrounding light. Their large, luminous eyes shone with an intensity that seemed to penetrate the soul. Clara was speechless, admiring the beauty and strangeness of these beings. One of the Xantharians stepped forward. He had no features resembling those of humans, but there was an aura of intelligence and wisdom in his presence. Clara felt that, although she could not understand them, there was an immediate connection, as if the Xantharian shared a message that transcended the barriers of language. As the team tried to capture every detail, Clara began to realize that the Xantharian were not hostile. On the contrary, their postures were relaxed and curious. One of the beings extended a hand, and Clara hesitated for a moment, but the attraction to that contact was irresistible. With a cautious gesture, she approached and touched the Xantharian's hand. In that instant, a wave of energy coursed through her body, as if time had slowed down. Clara saw visions of stars, distant planets, and vibrant ecosystems. In a moment of mutual understanding, she knew that these beings had come seeking help. The atmosphere was charged with emotion. Clara knew that life on Earth was about to change forever. What had begun as a scientific expedition had transformed into something much greater, an opportunity to unite two civilizations in a journey of discovery and cooperation. As the first communication unfolded, Clara looked at the Xantharian, feeling determined to understand their needs and build a bridge between their worlds. The future lay before her, bright and full of possibilities, and the adventure was just beginning. After the first contact, Clara Mendez and her team of scientists gathered in a temporary tent near the Xantharian ship. The atmosphere was filled with a mix of excitement and uncertainty. Everyone was aware of the magnitude of what had happened, but communication with the extraterrestrial visitors was still a barrier to be overcome. Determined to build a communication channel, Clara began developing a device that could translate the harmonic sounds emitted by the Xantharian beings. They did not speak like humans. Instead, they communicated through a combination of melodies and changes in the colors of their skin. Each variation seemed to correspond to a specific emotion or idea. "We need to understand what they are trying to tell us," Clara murmured as she examined the data collected during the first contact. Her mind was buzzing with theories about how they could interpret the language of the Xantharian beings. The team worked tirelessly, using artificial intelligence algorithms to analyze the sound and visual patterns. After days of attempts and failures, Clara managed to create a rudimentary prototype of a translator. Although it was not perfect, it was capable of capturing some nuances of Xantharian communication. The next morning, Clara and her team approached the ship again. The Xantharian beings were waiting, their skins glowing in a palette of vibrant colors that reflected curiosity and anticipation. Clara activated the device and, with a racing heart, asked the first simple question: Why have you come to us?" The Xantharian beings exchanged glances, and one of them, whom Clara sensed was the leader, began emitting a series of harmonious sounds, which the translator began to interpret. "We seek help. Our world, Xanthara, is in danger. We need to save our home." The statement reverberated in Clara's mind, and she felt a wave of compassion. The team listened attentively as the Xantharian beings continued to share their concerns. They showed holographic images of Xanthara and its ecosystems, which were deteriorating due to uncontrolled resource exploitation. The images revealed once vibrant landscapes now covered in pollution and devastation. Clara could see dry forests, contaminated rivers, and creatures struggling to survive. Her heart ached as she realized that, just like Earth, the Xantharian home was in crisis. "We need your help to restore our planet," said the Xantharian leader, his tone sincere and urgent. "You have knowledge about preservation and ecology. Together we can find a solution." Clara looked at her team, each reflecting the seriousness of the situation. What was at stake was not just the survival of an extraterrestrial species, but also an opportunity to learn from their mistakes and help save a world that was not their own. "We will do what we can," Clara replied, determined. "Let's work together." From that moment on, the collaboration between humans and Xantharian beings began to flourish. Clara and her team learned to interpret the sounds and colors, and the Xantharian beings, in turn, began to understand human language. A cultural exchange began, with both groups sharing knowledge about sustainability, technology, and traditions. As the days passed, Clara felt the connection between the two worlds growing stronger. The Xantharian beings, with their ancestral wisdom, taught Clara about the harmony between technology and nature, while she shared the lessons learned from Earth's history. With each new discovery, Clara felt that they were not only communicating, but forming a true friendship. The differences dissipated, and what once seemed like an insurmountable chasm now appeared as a bridge connecting two distinct worlds. Each new day reminded Clara that they were about to embark on a journey of transformation, not just for the Xantharian beings, but also for humanity. The mission was just beginning, and the possibilities were endless. Days turned into weeks, and the collaboration between humans and Xantharans intensified. Clara Mendez, now immersed in the culture of the visitors, began to better understand the complexities of the planet Xanthara. Knowledge exchanges became frequent, and the Earth scientists found themselves not only as teachers but also as students. One morning, as the sun began to illuminate the Amazon rainforest, Clara was invited to join the Xantharans in a special session. The leader of the species, named Althar, had promised to reveal more about their world and the challenges they faced. Clara remained anxious, wondering what she might learn. Upon arriving at the ship, Clara found a more welcoming environment than before. Soft light emanated from crystals floating in the air, creating a spectacle of colors that danced like stars in a night sky. The Xantharans were gathered, their skins shimmering in shades of blue and green, reflecting an optimistic state of mind. With an inviting gesture, Althar activated a holographic device that projected an impressive image of Xanthara. Clara was amazed to see a planet teeming with life, with vast forests, majestic mountains, and shimmering oceans. But as the image zoomed in, she saw signs of destruction, burned forests, polluted waters, and creatures on the brink of extinction. "This is our home," Althar said, his soft voice echoing in the air. "Once, Xanthara was a paradise, but greed and exploitation have led us to our current state. We came to you in search of solutions, for we believe that the wisdom of Earth can help us heal our world." Clara looked at the image, feeling a wave of sadness. It was a familiar story, the struggle of many planets against rampant exploitation. "How can we help?" she asked, feeling the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. "We need to restore our ecosystems and learn to live in harmony with our environment." Althar replied, "You have experiences that can guide us. We need sustainable technologies, farming methods that respect nature, and renewable energy sources." With a renewed purpose, Clara and her team began to work on an action plan. They shared methods for sustainable agriculture, reforestation techniques, and solar and wind energy systems. The Xantharans, in turn, presented their own advanced technologies, which used natural principles to generate clean energy. As Clara's team developed solutions, the Xantharans showed them how to cultivate native Xanthara plants that could be used to restore damaged ecosystems. Together, they created a project involving the replanting of forests and the recovery of waterways. During those work sessions, Clara also began to learn about Xantharan culture. The beings had a deep connection to nature, and their traditions were based on an intrinsic respect for the environment. They gathered in ceremonies to celebrate the changing seasons and honor the forces of nature. Clara began to wonder if Earth could benefit from a similar connection. One night, while observing the stars outside the ship, Clara reflected on how the two civilizations were different yet so similar in their struggles. They were united by a common desire to preserve their worlds. However, Clara also felt a shadow of concern. Time was passing, and while the Xantharans were determined to save Xanthara, she knew there were forces on Earth that might see the visitors as a threat. The extremist group that had attacked earlier was still at large, and tensions were rising. But Clara was determined to continue her work. She knew that hope resided in collaboration and mutual understanding. With each new discovery and strategy, Clara felt they were not only saving Xanthara, but also creating a legacy of learning that could benefit both planets. Thus, as the starlight shone down upon them, Clara and the Xantharans were ready to face the challenges ahead. Together, the future unfolded before them, and the promise of a new beginning was starting to take shape. As the collaboration between humans and Xantharian advanced, Clara Mendez felt hope growing. However, tension was also increasing. News about the arrival of the Xantharian began to spread across Earth, provoking a wave of diverse reactions. While many saw the visitors as allies, others, especially extremist groups, viewed them as a threat. One morning, Clara received an urgent summons from the security team at the Space Research Institute. Upon arrival, she found a group of researchers and government representatives, all with concerned expressions. "Clara, we need to discuss the safety of the team and the Xantharian," began the Institute's director, Dr. Almeida. "We're receiving threats from groups that don't believe we should associate with them. They see the Xantharian as an invasion," Almeida explained, his tone grave. "We are concerned about the risks this could pose." Clara felt a knot in her stomach. "But we're here to help. They are not our enemies. They are our allies," she defended, her passion for collaboration shining through. "We understand, but we need to be practical. If the situation escalates, there could be a confrontation. We need a security plan," Almeida replied, looking around the room. In the days that followed, Clara found herself torn between her desire to protect the Xantharian and the need to face the challenges emerging on Earth. The team worked on a security system to ensure the visitors were protected, which involved increasing surveillance around the ship and establishing evacuation protocols. Meanwhile, the Xantharian also expressed concern. Althar sought Clara for clarification. "We are aware that there is distrust towards us. What can we do to help calm the tensions?" he asked, his color shifting to a soft blue hue, indicating empathy. "We need to show the world that you come in peace and that your intention is to collaborate, not conquer," Clara responded. "A demonstration of your technology could help dispel fears." The idea of a global demonstration was quickly accepted. Clara and Althar began planning an event that would showcase Xantharian innovations, emphasizing the harmony between technology and nature. The event would be broadcast live, allowing people from all over the world to watch. In the days leading up to the demonstration, Clara felt hopeful, but the tension in the air was palpable. As they prepared, Clara could not ignore the rumors circulating on social media and in the news. Extremist groups began organizing protests, and Clara knew they would need to proceed with caution. On the day of the demonstration, the team gathered at the Xantharian ship, which had been transformed into a stage for the event. Clara was nervous, but Althar appeared serene, his skin glowing in a vibrant green hue, reflecting confidence. "We're ready," he said, smiling. As the event began, Clara introduced the Xantharian to the world, explaining their mission and the need for collaboration. Althar then demonstrated an incredible technology that generated clean energy from natural elements, transforming solar and wind energy into electricity. Holographic images showed how this energy could be used to restore Xanthara's ecosystems and potentially help Earth. The public's response was mixed. Many people were fascinated and inspired, while others, in their distrust, began asking challenging questions. Clara tried to answer each one, highlighting the importance of collaboration and the lessons that could be exchanged between the civilizations. However, as the demonstration continued, Clara noticed quick movement in the shadows. A group of hooded individuals began to approach, shouting words of hate and distrust. Clara felt her heart race. What should have been a moment of unity was about to turn into conflict. Security quickly mobilized, but Clara knew she needed to act. With courage, she approached the extremist group, trying to engage them in dialogue. "Please listen. They are here to help us. They are not our enemies." The tension became unbearable. The leader of the extremist group, a man with cold, angry eyes, shouted, "You are handing over our planet to them. They come to take from us." Before Clara could respond, one of the Xantharian, noticing the situation, stepped forward. With a calm gesture, he began to emit a soft, harmonious sound. His skin started to glow in a golden hue, and a wave of energy seemed to emanate from him, enveloping the environment in a peaceful aura. Clara watched, fascinated, as the shouts quieted and the anger began to dissipate. The Xantharian continued to sing, and gradually some members of the extremist group began to show signs of hesitation. The music seemed to touch something deep within them. "This is the true essence of Xanthara," Althar said, joining in the song. "We come in peace to share and learn. There is no need for fear." The atmosphere began to change. Clara felt they were at a turning point. If they could reach the hearts of the people, perhaps they could create a bridge between the worlds. But the struggle was far from over. Clara knew that even if that day had been a step towards peace, many challenges still lay ahead. The real battle would be overcoming distrust and building a future where humans and Xantharian could coexist in harmony. And even in the face of adversity, Clara was determined not to give up. The day of the long-awaited demonstration finally arrived. Clara Mendez woke up before the sun, her mind buzzing with the final preparations. The atmosphere was charged with expectation, and she knew that what would happen that day could change the future for both Earth and Xanthara. The team of scientists and the Xantharian visitors gathered around the ship, which gleamed under the soft morning light. Clara had been involved in every aspect of the presentation, from the technical details to the narrative that would guide the event. She wanted the world to see the Xantharian beings for who they truly were, not as invaders, but as allies on a mission of hope. As the sun rose on the horizon, Clara did a final check on her translation device. The Xantharian team was ready, and Althar, the leader of their species, looked more confident than ever. His skin glowed in a deep blue hue, reflecting determination. The event was broadcast live to millions of viewers worldwide. Clara began the presentation, explaining the importance of collaboration between the two species and what was at stake. She introduced the Xantharian beings, highlighting their skills and knowledge of sustainable technologies. "Today we will witness a demonstration of their technology," Clara said, gesturing to Althar. "They have something that can transform our world and theirs if we work together." Althar stepped onto the improvised stage, and the ship projected holographic images showing the beauty of Xanthara, lush forests, clean rivers, and vibrant biodiversity. Then the image shifted to the devastating effects of unchecked exploitation, showing what the Xantharian civilization had faced. "This is our home," Althar said, his voice echoing with a soft melody. "But it is also a warning. What happened on Xanthara can happen anywhere if we do not take care of our planet." The audience was in absolute silence, absorbing every word. Clara felt that the message was starting to resonate among the viewers, but tension still hung in the air. She knew she needed to show how Xantharian technology could benefit Earth. Althar began the demonstration of clean energy technology. With a graceful gesture, he activated a device that captured sunlight and wind energy. The magic of technology unfolded before the audience's eyes, as a glowing sphere floated, generating electricity efficiently and cleanly. The lights of the ship changed, reflecting the flow of energy. This system can provide energy for entire villages, without pollution, without negative impact on the environment. Althar explained, "Imagine an Earth where forests can thrive instead of being destroyed." The demonstration was followed by a live experiment. Clara joined Althar, and together they planted seeds from a native Xanthara plant that had regenerative properties. As they poured a bit of the purified water the Xantharian beings had brought, the seeds began to sprout instantly, forming a vibrant little plant in mere seconds. The crowd was amazed, and Clara saw expressions of disbelief transform into hope. But deep down she knew the battle was not yet won. The extremist group that had protested earlier was still lurking, and Clara could not ignore the possibility that they might try to disrupt the presentation. As if her thoughts had materialized, Clara spotted movement at the back of the crowd. A group of hooded individuals was gathering, their faces filled with anger. Clara felt a chill down her spine. This moment of unity was about to be interrupted. Before she could alert security, one of the extremists raised a sign, shouting, "You are giving our planet to them! We cannot trust the Xantharian beings!" Tension intensified, and Clara knew she needed to act quickly. She approached the group, her voice firm yet calm. "Please listen. What we are doing here is for the good of all. The Xantharian beings are offering knowledge and technology that can help us save Earth." But the leader of the group, a tall man with a fierce look, shouted back, "They come to dominate us! We cannot allow this!" In that instant, Althar stepped forward, his presence immediate and imposing. He began to emit a harmonious sound, combined with the rapidly changing colors of his skin, creating a visual spectacle. Clara was stunned to see how the colors danced to the rhythm of the music as if responding to the emotions of the crowd. "We are not your enemies," Althar said, his voice rising above the tumult. "We come seeking friendship and collaboration. We are here to learn and share. What we offer is a chance for a better future." The music and colors created a magical atmosphere, and slowly the crowd began to calm down. Clara sensed that the harmony of the Xantharian beings was touching something deep within each person present. One by one, the angry faces began to relax. Then one of the extremist group members, a woman with tears in her eyes, stepped forward. "What if we are wrong? What if they really can help us?" The question echoed in the crowd, and Clara saw a crack in the resistance. Althar, noticing the shift, continued, "Together we can learn from the mistakes of the past. We can build a future where Earth and Xanthara thrive side by side." The demonstration transformed from a moment of tension into a spectacle of hope. Clara and Althar stood at the center, uniting two civilizations in a common goal. But Clara knew that this victory was temporary. The challenge of earning everyone's trust was still ahead. What had started as a technology demonstration could easily turn into a battleground if they could not overcome the lingering distrust. As the event neared its end, Clara felt that, despite the challenges, they were on the right path. The connection between humans and Xantharian beings was flourishing, and the seed of hope had been planted. What would come next was uncertain, but Clara was determined to fight for this new alliance, and for a future where both worlds could coexist in harmony. After the demonstration, the atmosphere was charged with emotions. Clara Mendez, now in a mix of relief and excitement, watched as the crowd slowly dispersed. The event that was supposed to be a battleground of distrust had transformed into a moment of unity. But even with the success, Clara knew that the real battle was still to come. In the days that followed, Clara and the Xantharian team gathered to discuss the next steps. The team was full of energy but also aware that many challenges lay ahead. The extremist group had not disappeared. They were merely regrouping, ready to strike at a moment of weakness. "We need to act quickly," said Althar, his skin shifting to a deep red hue of concern. "Distrust still permeates human society. If we're not proactive, rumors could spread and create even more animosity." Clara nodded, her mind racing with ideas. "We need to create an action plan. If we can involve more people in our mission, perhaps we can neutralize the resistance." It was then that the idea for a joint project emerged, one that would not only showcase Xantharian technologies, but also engage communities on Earth in their initiatives. Clara proposed creating an environmental rehabilitation campaign that would involve human and Xantharian volunteers working side by side to restore degraded areas on Earth and Xanthara. By uniting people in a common effort, we can show that we're not here to dominate but to help, Clara said, her passion evident in every word. We will restore forests, clean rivers, and promote education about sustainability. Althar and his team were excited about the idea. This is part of our culture. We celebrate our connection to the land and nature. Together, we can create a legacy that inspires others, Althar replied, his skin glowing in a vibrant green, symbolizing hope. With the idea approved, Clara and Althar began planning the campaign. In several conferences with the communication team at the Space Research Institute, they created outreach materials highlighting the importance of collaboration and the project's goals. The plan was ambitious, including a series of events throughout the next year. Meanwhile, Clara also started a dialogue with local community leaders, trying to win allies. She organized meetings in various cities where she presented the project's vision and the benefits it could bring. Support began to grow, and people started to see the Xantharian visitors as partners, not threats. However, the opposition remained active. The extremist group, led by that fierce-eyed man, began organizing protests and misinformation campaigns, spreading rumors that the Xantharian presence would bring disaster to Earth. Clara knew they needed to confront this issue head-on. One night, Clara decided to confront the situation directly. With Althar's support, she organized an open roundtable discussion where the Xantharian visitors could answer questions and clarify misunderstandings. It's time for us to show ourselves and unite with all who desire a better future, Clara told Althar. The event was scheduled for a large public square, and Clara worried about the possibility of extremists attempting to interrupt. But she was determined not to be intimidated. The day of the roundtable arrived, and the square was filled with people, some eager, others skeptical. Clara opened the discussion, introducing Althar and his team. We're here to talk. It's essential that we understand each other. We have a common future in our hands. Althar began to speak, his voice soft and melodious resonating through the square. He shared stories about Xanthara, their culture, and the deep connection they had with nature. He explained how the technology they brought could not only save their planet but also help repair the damage Earth had suffered. As Althar spoke, Clara noticed that people were starting to open up. Looks of distrust transformed into expressions of curiosity. But suddenly, the man from the extremist group appeared, interrupting the speech. "You can't trust them," he shouted, his voice harsh. "They're here to control us. We can't allow this to happen." Clara took a deep breath and, in a moment of courage, addressed him directly. "If you truly care about the future of Earth, you should listen to what we have to say. We're not here to control, but to collaborate. The real threat comes from destruction and neglect of our planet." The tension was palpable, but Clara continued to speak. "The Xantharian visitors are willing to share their knowledge. They came seeking help, just as we need theirs. Let's work together to heal our worlds." The crowd began to murmur, and Clara felt she was touching people's hearts. The man, however, did not back down. "You cannot trust them. They are a threat." At that moment, Althar intervened again. "What we want is a future where Earth and Xanthara can thrive together. True strength lies in unity, collaboration, and mutual respect." Althar's words resonated in the square, and the tension began to dissipate. Clara saw some audience members turning toward the man, questioning his words. The resistance was starting to crack. As the roundtable approached its end, Clara and Althar felt hopeful. The dialogue had opened doors, and the seeds of understanding were being planted. But Clara knew there was still a long way to go. The extremist group would not easily give up, and distrust still loomed over many. With renewed determination, Clara and Althar vowed to continue their work. They had the opportunity to build a solid alliance, not only between humans and Xantharian visitors, but among all those who desired a sustainable future.